I think the most perfect brand integration is E.T., the extraterrestrial, when E.T. is searching for the Reese's Pieces. You know, we all use that as an example to say, well, you don't want to be the guy who said no to that. Brand integration is important. Brand integration can embolden the product, but it lends credibility to the movie. I always want to stay in the reality of a film, and so when I see brand integration, it just keeps me in the film. Whereas if I see something I haven't seen before, I'm almost taken out of the movie. And I never want to be taken out of a film. So even as a film producer, I always say, guys, let's ground the movie with products that we're familiar with. You know, products are like comfort food. We want to see those comfort foods in our movies. When you see a movie, you're living in a moment. And I think that when you take an audience out of a moment, you have to work incredibly hard to bring them back into the moment. Because once you lose an audience, it's very challenging to get back into your story. And you know, brand integration or lack of brand integration can actually take somebody out of a movie. I mean, let's look at the films in the 70s. For some reason in the 1970s, everybody had a brown paper bag and a loaf of bread that looked like it just came back from some Italian shop, you know, a French baguette or something like that. And that takes you out of the film because that's not how we shop. So we want to see people living the realities that we relate to. Particularly today, let's look at the world that we reside in today. About 70% of the world's population lives in an urban environment. And urban environments are defined by their products. And we want to put our people in those environments so that people relate to our films. I think the biggest opportunity for brand integration is to accept the fact that we all drive cars and that there are brands in cars, and we want to be familiar with those brands. General Motors makes a whole array of cars, from the Chevrolet Volt to the Cadillac, and that means you can actually have a brand integration with GM and not necessarily have the film feel like it's something that has been inspired by producers and art directors and so forth and so on. So I think you got to look at the brands and say, what kind of variables do they have within their brands that doesn't scream like we're actually making a deal with somebody? I think that missed opportunities are when you put black tape on something because you don't want to see the brand. That takes you out of the story. You want to say, this is the world that we live in, and these are the products, and these are the stories we're telling.